Hey everyone, Adam from Full Charge Ahead here, and here's your EV camping road trip essentials. When I head out in my EV on a road trip to a distant area that I am unfamiliar with, I like to use 3 apps to plot my journey: Google Maps, PlugShare, and a better route planner. I'll start by putting my destination into Google Maps to get the overall distance that I'm traveling, as well as the route that it thinks is wisest. Next, I'll put the same destination into a better route planner, which knows my vehicle and the account settings. I'll update it with the exact battery percentage that I currently have at departure, and I'll see where it thinks I should charge and for how long. And then I'll take the chargers that a better route planner suggested, and I'll compare it with the route that Google Maps provided me, and also I'll cross-reference it with PlugShare. PlugShare is the most accurate source of information for DC fast chargers in North America. You can often see when last people have checked in, which is a way of saying that they successfully or did not successfully charge, and their charge rate as well as their vehicle. So you can get an idea of the most recent status of the charger and whether or not it's been actively successfully charging lately. PlugShare lists the number of chargers that you're dealing with as well as the charging rate, so you have an idea of how fast they are for charging. It also provides a little bit of information on whether there's washrooms or restaurants or shopping nearby. It is always good to have a Plan B charger in mind in case Plan A charger is busy or broken. And there you have it. I use these 3 apps in this manner and it gives me a solid plan. If you wake up with 100% charge, it's a good feeling because you know you can boot around the area as much as you want and get home safely, and the next day you get to charge again. You could always try booking a hotel with a level 2 charger. Call ahead and see if they can reserve it for you. It is wise to line up your charging with sleeping, eating, groceries, washroom breaks. It helps to prioritize your time. If you wake up with a full charge and drive several hours before having to charge again and then charge only a few times that day and then roll into your next location with a 5-10% battery and be fully charged the next day, that saves a lot of time. All that charging overnight does make a difference. When cruising in the US, I found it beneficial to make accounts with EVgo, Electrify America, ChargePoint, and Flow, for example, to help you have a smoother charging experience. In Ontario, you might want to subscribe to Ivy, Flow, Petro-Canada, Shell Recharge, Electrify Canada. Sometimes when you're DC fast charging, it likes the good old handshake. And by that I mean hold up the weight of the heavy CCS cable while it's initializing, like the first 30 seconds or so, until you hear the beep and it starts charging. Then you can let go and just do whatever you want. But if you hold up the weight of the cable for the first 30 seconds while it initializes, you have a better charge rate success. Just a heads up, if you are a Canadian and you want to access one of the select open Tesla superchargers in New York State, you can't do it unless you create a US-based Tesla account, which means also for me, I would have to create a new Apple ID so that I could download the Tesla app from the US App Store, and it's not easy to switch back and forth with Apple IDs. I don't like that method. I think you should probably avoid the Tesla superchargers in New York State if you're Canadian. On our recent road trip from Ontario through New York State, Cape Cod, Maine, Quebec, we often stayed at an RV campsite. At an RV campsite, you get a 50 amp NEMA 1450 plug that can adequately level 2 charge at 240 volts. You often get 2 standard 120 volt outlets included as well. This gave us unlimited power to charge our car, our portable power system which powered our RV fridge, our camera gear, all of our flashlights and lighting and laptops and all of our gadgets. We had unlimited power for all that. It was great. And the nice thing too, when you plug in your EV and turn it on, you're not actually running the motor. There's no sound, there's no fumes to choke people out, and your HVAC runs brilliantly. In my car, I can set it to automatic to a comfortable temperature, and you get in, you crawl into your car at night, you're all sticky and gross and humid, and you turn on the HVAC at a nice temperature, and it just pumps this fresh air in and sucks all the humidity and grossness out, and in 20 minutes, you're dry, cozy, and comfortable. The HVAC is brilliant. My car auto shuts off after an hour or two if I turn it on, and I'm not able to keep it on permanently without the headlights staying on. And I don't want the headlights to be on at a campsite, so I can't do that. So I just have to turn on the car at bedtime and in the morning a few times, and it'll run for an hour or two at a time, and the car will be nice and cozy in temperature. To be honest, shuffling around your gear at morning and at night can be a bit of a pain, but there's something you can do to help it. Consider getting a one-person tent, perhaps one of those super easy to set up ones you throw into the air and it just assembles itself and lands perfectly done. That would be great, because when you get up in the morning and you have all this gear, instead of putting it all back in the car, if you're just going out for the day for a hike or a beach or something, you could put it into the one-person tent and it'll be sealed up from the elements and just keeps your car a little less cluttered when you're out for the day. When you get home at night, you can put the gear back in the car and you're good to go again. It's just a little trick of the trade. We also brought a 10-foot square canopy tent that protects us from the bugs in the rain, so we could cook in the rain or sit out in the bugs without too much of a hassle. Apparently Teslas have camp mode where you can turn it on and it'll run the HVAC all night long without shutting it off, which would be great. I wish I had that. Some RV campsites will charge you an extra $20 to $25 US a night to charge your vehicle. And it makes sense, it does cut into their profit margins, so be nice and pay it. For our road trip, we kept our food cool with a Bouge RV brand RV fridge with a compressor. The idea of the compressor gives it lots of cooling power to keep your fridge adequately cold, and since it has serious cooling power, you can deep freeze freezer packs repeatedly to keep cycling through your cooler to keep your cooler cooled all weekend. After doing research, I decided to power the RV fridge with a portable power system, which is essentially a battery inverter combo. I bought a Blue Eddy brand 268 watt-hour capacity battery. It has two standard 120 volt household outlets that can do 200 watts continuous each or 600 peak each of power, as well as a whole bunch of USB outlets and wireless phone charging. It's a pretty cool battery pack. It can run my RV fridge for about 15 to 24 hours depending on the temperature outside, and it's a great piece of gear. Basically, I just top up that portable power system in the morning and the night before bed or when I get up and keep it topped up, and it'll run that fridge all day. If I'm out or wherever, I have the battery hooked up inside my vehicle to that fridge, keeping it nice and cool. For our drinks, we just used a standard regular cooler and kept refilling it with ice. For sleeping, I put down the rear seats, put bins behind the front driver and passenger seat that fit perfectly the height of the rear seat when folded down. And then I put down a 40-inch wide moving blanket and then an SUV air mattress that's about 6 inches thick. There were some 4-inch ones, but I went 6-inch for a little more comfort and inflated that as well as some blankets, and it was actually quite comfy. It was a tight squeeze for sure. I'm 5'9", my partner's 5'4". We barely squeezed into the back of our Chevy Bolt EUV, but we made it work pretty good. I put the front seats as far forward as they'd go and unreclined them as straight as I could. And I put the RV fridge in the passenger seat, as well as the portable power system on the driver's seat, and connect them with the cable so they can run all night. We'd shuffle our gear into the cargo box, and we'd call it a night. I went with a rooftop cargo box for my EV. If you read online, some people say you're better off installing a tow hitch and you'll have better efficiency if you put a tray on the back and then load it up with some bins. But I actually went with a rooftop cargo box. It was actually very efficient, a lot better than I thought. Going highway speeds with my Bolt EUV, I ranged generally between 3.0 and 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour, or in metric units, 17 to 20.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That's quite efficient. That would give me about 205 miles of range, or 330 kilometers. That's going the speed limit, or oftentimes 5 miles an hour above. I went with the Yakima Jetstream crossbar system. It's sturdy, it's solid, and it's silent. I like it. I also added Limo ceramic tint to the back of my vehicle for 2 reasons. 1, privacy, so not everyone and their uncle could see what's inside my vehicle at any time, and also as a heat shield, as ceramic tint helps to reject heat from the sunlight, keeping your car temperature overall cooler, which is great when you have a carload of contents or even just an electric car, because a few degrees cooler on a hot day is a big deal when you have a battery. Batteries don't like being 1,000,000 degrees. To block the light and heat for sleeping, we bought a windshield sunshade that was specifically designed for the Bolt EUV that reflects the light on the outside to the outer world to reflect all the heat, and then on the inside is just straight black for darkness. For the 4 side windows, we got this black pullover that's almost like pulling an XXL black t-shirt over the top of your door, so you can still open the window to breathe, but it's black and the bugs can't get in, and it worked out well. We also brought some really comfy camping chairs that can recline back and look at the stars, a propane stove that folds flat and compact. They use those little propane green cylinders, pots, pans, cutlery. We brought all that stuff too. And there you go, you got some EV camping road trip essentials. Put all this information together, put your own brand sticker on it, and ride off into the sunset. You cowboy, you got some cruising to do. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment below where you plan to cruise to and how it goes, because as they say, life is a highway. Keep cruising.